There is a weight that sits behind the eyes of those who try the hardest. It is a quiet, heavy ache that comes when you have given your last ounce of kindness, only to be met with coldness. You have been the one to stay late, the one to forgive the unforgivable, the one who carries the burdens of others like they were your own, and yet life seems to reward your goodness with a fresh storm. You look at the world and see those who take, those who lie, and those who hurt, walking in the sun while you sit in the dark, nursing a wound you didn't earn. You find yourself looking at the ceiling at 3 a.m., asking a question that feels like a betrayal to even utter. Why is it always me? Why do the good ones have to bleed the most? A young man once climbed a steep, jagged mountain to find a master who lived where the air was thin and the silence was thick. The young man's hands were calloused from helping neighbors, but his heart was even more scarred. He had lost his home to a fire, his health to a sudden illness, and his faith to the relentless pounding of misfortune. He found the master sitting by a small, stone-rimmed fire. The master did not look up. He was watching a pot of water come to a boil. "I have done everything right," the young man whispered, his voice cracking like dry wood. "I have fed the hungry. I have never stolen a penny. I have kept my heart open when others slammed theirs shut, and yet every time I build something beautiful, the wind knocks it down. Tell me, is the universe cruel, or is it simply blind?" The master remained silent. He picked up a rough, gray stone from the dirt and tossed it into the boiling water. Then he picked up a withered tea leaf and dropped it beside the stone. "Look," the master said softly. "I don't want to look at stones," the young man snapped, tears finally breaking through. "I want to know why my life is a series of fires. I want to know why I am being punished for being good." The master looked at him then. His eyes weren't filled with pity. They were filled with a terrifyingly calm clarity. "You think you are being punished," the master said, "but nature does not know the word punishment. It only knows preparation." He gestured to the mountainside. "Tell me, when the heavy rains come, does the water stay on the jagged, hard peaks of the rock? No, it rushes down, seeking the lowest point. It flows past the proud stones and settles in the valley. It is in the valley, the place that has been carved out, hollowed and beaten down by the elements, where the soil is richest. It is only in the valley that the lilies can grow." The young man shook his head. "I am tired of being the valley. I want to be the peak. I want to be untouched." "The peak is lonely and barren," the master replied. "Nothing grows there because nothing can be held there. Your suffering is not a debt you are paying for a sin you didn't commit. It is the carving. You are being hollowed out so that you can hold more of the light." The master reached into the fire with a pair of iron tongs and pulled out a piece of glowing red-hot coal. The young man flinched back. "If you want to make a blade that can cut through the darkness," the master said, "you do not leave the iron in a cool meadow. You thrust it into the heart of the furnace. You strike it, not because you hate the iron, but because you know what the iron is capable of becoming. A dull piece of metal suffers the hammer because it is being called to be a sword." The young man looked at his trembling hands. "But it hurts. The strike of the hammer, it hurts so much I forget who I am." "That is because you are clinging to the shape you used to be," the master whispered. "The iron screams because it misses being a block of metal. It does not realize it is becoming an instrument of kings. You are being polished, not punished. Does the diamond curse the friction that grinds its edges? No. Without that heat, without that unbearable pressure, it would remain nothing more than a lump of coal, hidden and useless in the dark." The master poured the tea into 2 small clay cups. The water was no longer clear. It was dark, rich, and fragrant. "The tea leaf suffered the boiling water," the master said, handing a cup to the young man. If it had stayed dry and safe in the jar, it would have kept its form, but it would have never shared its soul. It had to break to release its essence. Your goodness is not a shield that protects you from life. Your goodness is the reason life has chosen you to be its witness. The world does not need more people who are safe. It needs people who have been through the fire and come out smelling like sandalwood. The young man took a sip. The warmth spread through his chest, a strange contrast to the cold mountain air. "So," the man whispered, "what do I do when the next hammer falls? How do I stop the bitterness from poisoning the tea?" The master smiled. "You stop asking, 'Why is this happening to me?' and you start asking, 'What is this awakening in me?'" "When the pain arrives," the master continued, "do not tighten your muscles. Do not clench your teeth and fight the wave. Instead, breathe into the center of the ache. Imagine you are a great oak during a hurricane. The trees that try to stand rigid, the ones that refuse to move, are the ones that snap. But the tree that remembers it was once a flexible seed, the tree that bows to the wind, is the one that sees the sun the next morning." The practice of the hollowed soul. If you are listening to this and you feel like the iron under the hammer, understand this. Your suffering is a sacred invitation. You are not being abandoned, you are being refined. The universe does not waste its hardest lessons on those who have nothing to give. It gives the heaviest burdens to the strongest backs. Tonight, or in this very moment, do not try to fix your life. Instead, try this. 1. Sit in the silence for 3 minutes. Do not run to your phone. Do not run to a distraction. Sit with the ache. Place your hand over your heart and feel the rhythm of your breath, the silence between the inhales. That silence is the part of you that can never be burned, never be broken, and never be lost. Whisper these words to yourself. I am not being broken. I am being broken open. Imagine your life not as a series of random accidents, but as a masterpiece in progress. Every tear you've shed is water for the garden of your soul. Every betrayal was a lesson in the boundaries of your own vast heart. As the young man left the mountain, he didn't have his home back. His body still felt the phantom pains of his illness, but his walk was different. He no longer carried his goodness like a heavy trophy he was afraid to drop. He carried it like a lantern. As the great teacher Krishna once said to a warrior trembling on the brink of a devastating battle, "You have a right to your actions, but never to the fruits of your actions. Do not be moved by success or failure. Be still and perform your duty." Your duty is to remain kind in a world that is often cruel, not because it will make your life easier, but because that is how you change the frequency of the world itself. You are the echo of the divine, and echoes do not stop until they have touched every corner of the canyon. If something stirred in you today, sit with it. Do not click away yet. Let the silence speak.